Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sah Viryam Karvavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari Om. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. So we are on chapter 11 and today we will be doing verse 9. And last 2 weeks ago, that when we finished verse 8, the English translation is Krishna Bhagavan is telling him, but you are not able to behold me with these your own eyes. I give you the divine eye. Behold my lordly yoga. So he was just, he granted Arjuna the Divya Drishti, and we went in detail what exactly it means. There were so many different aspects to it, so many different angles, and so many different swamis gave different things. So we got some picture of what the Divya Drishti is. And now the scene goes to Dhritarashtra's palace where Sanjay is reporting now. So he's telling Dhritarashtra. So verse 9, Sanjay uvacha eva muktva tato rajan mahayogeshvaro harihi darshayamarsa parthaya paramam rupamaishwaram. Evam, thus. So all this what happened thus. Uktva, have spoken. Tata, then. Rajan, O king. All these things that Krishna Bhagavan said. And he's addressing Dhritarashtra as Rajan. And then he said, Mahayogeshwar, the great Lord of Yoga. And this also word is power packed. A lot of things are in there. Harihi, this again another word. These are very chosen word. Why he said these words for Krishna Bhagavan. Darshayamas, showed. Darshan diya unko. Parthaya, to Parth we know as Arjuna. Paramam, supreme. Rupam, form. Aishwaram, lordly sovereign. Showed him the supreme Aishwarya lordly form he showed him. Vishwaroop we call it in short. So many different things are there in this also. On one hand, it looks very simple, but when the saints and sages start telling us so many things come out. It's like, wow, So basically, the translation, we saw that how having given this vision, Sanjay is describing now after that. So, and we know that Sanjay was reporting to Dhritarashtra, and the way Nikhilanandji explained this scene was that when Arjuna saw that what we'll be seeing, because Sanjay will be describing what Arjuna saw. That will start from verse 10. But Arjuna became stunned, when he saw the vision. And then Arjuna was also silent, just looking. And Bhagwan is also silent now. Jo bolna tha abhi bol diya, abhi sirf dikha rahe hai. So Sanjay is speaking. This is like when Swamiji is going to explain about the drama, he will explain that this is part of the drama. So that idea is that we should get it, okay? So he's speaking, and Sanjay will be describing. Through Sanjay's words, we will also hear what Arjuna saw. What exactly Arjuna saw, वो तो अर्जुन को ही मालूम. But हम लोग को संजय के थ्रू पता चलेगा. So, and we know that by the blessing of Vyasji and the wish of Shri Krishna, you can say. Without Shri Krishna's wish, nothing can move. So that's how he could see. Those two were the reasons that Sanjay can see. So Sanjay says, Sanjay Uvacha, so Sanjay is speaking, and he's describing the whole thing. And coming back to Dhritarashtra, we have analyzed Dhritarashtra's whole persona, but just remembering it because now he's telling to Dhritarashtra that he's not only physically blind, but he is absolutely deluded, blind in his mind also. He has so much attachment to his son, and he overlooked all his adharmas that he was doing. And then the most important point over here that we have to take, that even at this point, Dhritarashtra did have the power to stop the war, and and give back the kingdom to the Pandavas, which they are literally snatched from them. And here, by the way Sanjay speaks, it tells us that he's hoping that after knowing the glory of Lord Krishna, he will realize his mistake. Any person with little common sense and actually he was deluded. When too much attachment comes, your mind becomes like foggy, jisko bolte na, cannot think straight. That's what happened to him. So he thought that he will realize his mistake and even follow the path of dharma. That's what Sanjay was hoping, But the way Nikhilanandji was saying, that delusion is very strong, and it sometimes when a person is deluded, it doesn't go away that easily. It's like when we see chapter 3, Bhagwan has said that the tamasic desires are like they are like it covers the wisdom. All desires cover wisdom, but the sattvic desire is very, very light. It is like a dhua on a fire. Thoda si hawa aati hai to nikal jata hai. And then the other one was rajasic desires are like dust on a mirror. You have to scrub it, so you have to do a little extra work. But jo tamasic hota hai na, it's like the womb covering the fetus. It will take 9 months and take birth before. It takes a long time for it to go. That's the problem with this fellow over here. So all these things now fit. So his delusion was very strong. And then his delusion was so strong that he is not understanding, Krishna's glory. बोलते हैं ना किसी का फैक्ट कोई चीज होती है, किसके सामने रख दो ना, उसके फेस के आगे उसको फिर भी नहीं दिखाई देता है. That's what it is happening over here. So he's addressing him as Hey Rajan. And then, but when he addresses Krishna Bhagwan, look at the words he's using. Yogeshwara, the Ishwar of yoga, So everybody was different people like Shankaracharya and Madhusudan Saraswati and Nikhilanandji, Chinmayanandji, all kind of take another one angle to explain this Yogeshwar. But Nikhilanandji said that yoga is all the different paths that we have learned. The Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Karma Yoga. So he's a lord of all the paths. He's the one who described everything. And so he knows the secrets of all the paths also. And, he gave the whole discourse earlier on so many things. And then coming back to the word yoga, it also means that the final point of yoga is where everything merges. Right? It is a union with the higher. So it's a merging with the higher. So he, from that perspective, Nikhilanandji explained it very nicely. He's saying that he is a Lord in which entire cosmos, all beings and everything merge in him. So that is the word Yogeshwar. And because he is the very foundation of this entire creation. That's how we have to look at it. And then he called him Hari. So ये word हमने बहुत सुना है, right? इंडिया में तो सभी को मालूम है. Hari Om, we say, and all that. Hari. So what actually it means? जो हिंदी में बोलते हैं ना, जो हरण कर लेता है. So हरण positive ढंग से, हाँ? He's a remover of darkness. Remover or of, at the highest level, Bhagwan is a remover of our ignorance, our delusions, which this fellow is suffering from. Dhritarashtra is suffering from. In the same verse, he's, telling Dhritarashtra about Yogeshwara and Hari. And then he was just reminding that how he will take away our ignorance, just by chanting Hari, Hari se nahi hoega sirf, huh? He's saying that we have to surrender to him. Bhagwan. Then only he will. You have to give him a chance. You have to surrender. And then we know we say this. Every time I end a Bhagavad Gita class, I say this verse: Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja. That's the ultimate surrender. सब कुछ छोड़ के surrender कर दो मुझे. Then he will. That's the strong desire we have to have. That inclination we have to have. Then he will remove our bondage, our negativity, and all that. And then, because you were just saying that a lot of people, they will say, oh, yes, yes, I want God, but then their actions are totally different. They really don't want the moksha. They're scared of it or something. When एक दृष्टांत है कि when भगवान suddenly appears, हे तुमको क्या चाहिए, तो वो मोक्ष याद नहीं आता वो टाइम पे. जो सबसे ज्यादा प्रॉब्लम है, ठीक चीज होती है ना, तो वो ठीक कर दो मेरा. Suddenly we drop down. So anyway, this is just some of the ways of the Swamis to tell us, And then he says in this line that Darshayamas Parthaya. So he started showing his Param Rupam. What kind of roop? Param Rupam, his supreme form. Ishwariya Roop. Aishwarya se bhara hua. Oh, what happened? Maybe I have to put mute here. Okay. So the grand cosmic form, and in which everything is there. So just to remind, on one hand, it is called Vishwarupa. On one hand, it's called the divine cosmic form. But Nikhilanandji was reminding us, even that form is fraction of God. See that? Because God is much more than that. His Vishwarupa. So it's a Virat Rupa, God is much. So that is something that we have to remember. Because it's just like the example he gave of, infinity or something that, you have a something, writing a pen with a pen. So you say, okay, pen is writing all these things and these nice poetries or some essay or some story has been written. Is that the only glory? No. The writer can do so much more. उसके अंदर तो और भी कुछ भरा हुआ है, right? So this, what he saw Vishwaroop was just a fraction of it. That was an important point, to keep everything in context, what it is. And because this one is just his glory, but he's much more than that. And then what is our purpose for understanding this form, or, reading about it? So this is what Nikhilanandji had to say. It is for us to meditate on this scene. That itself is a sadhana for us. That is the most important thing for us. We may not be able to understand or imagine the entire thing, but with the help of Arjuna's words or Sanjay's words, the way Arjuna saw it, that we can meditate on the vastness of this thing, and that will help to expand our mind. So I thought that was a very important point, because we get stuck in our littleness, and then once we hear about it, our mind expands, our vision expands, and then littleness just collapses, And then he gave, this example is given a lot in the Vedanta, that you have this balloon, usko aise chhod do balloon ko, to it start rising up, right? It start going up, and as it goes up, that is what is inside is air, and that air is compared to the ego. When it's on the ground, so वो बस फुला के बैठ गया वहाँ पर ego, right? If you let it go, it starts rising. So it starts rising up spiritually in the consciousness, and then it realizes, God, I am one with that air outside. I'm inside this wall right now in the balloon, and then it starts expanding, फिर वो boom, फट जाता है. The walls are gone, and the air becomes one with the other air. It's a beautiful example. So that's what he's saying, that this meditation on this can do it for our ego, that our ego will just collapse and we'll realize the grandness of the whole thing, And then, so that's where I thought this is such a beautiful example he gave. So we are right now bound with our mind, our body, and all that. So that is the sadhana. And then what he saw, that we will see in the next one. And there are some other people gave some good explanations of, so, we'll just go a little bit more and then we can read it. So basically, from this verse, Krishna, it tells us that Krishna completed his preparatory instruction. Just prepare kiya usko. Because he didn't want him to get into a shock, so he prepared it. And then, what is another meaning of Mahayogeshwar? Because one was that he's a lord of all the yoga, that Krishna has a mastery over Yog Maya. Yog Maya is that power of Krishna, but Krishna is the boss, the divine power through which the universe is manifested. So he is the big boss. Maya is unki adheen hai Maya. Okay. And then the other point is that he has the ability to reveal uh, certain forms that are not ordinarily perceptible to us, perceivable to us. So that's why he's a Yogeshwar. He can create that whole, like he custom designed it for Arjuna because of his question. And then Hari, like I said, that remover of ignorance, and some other people, they explain that it takes away limitation of the devotee. When we feel like bound and limited and all that. So, and then, of course, ignorance of avidya, we talked about it. That is what veils the reality and all that. And so, here Krishna removes Arjun's limited perception also. And then Krishna makes Arjuna see, what does he make him see? That he alone can give him all these things that he can see. Number one, cannot see by himself. Yes. So basically, he has a capacity. And then Paramam Room Ashwaryam, cosmic form, beyond all everything. Paramam means the highest, because there are certain adjectives are used over here. That's the highest. And then Ashwaryam, you can say lordship, divine power. Those words also can help us understand. And then one of them gave a very nice summary of it, that, hey, this is not a form, just ordinary form, but the totality of what? When he saw all gods, all worlds, because we are, hey, we are sitting on this earth and we feel like this is our world, but entire universe, all beings, strange beings, everything, all time. So all time means what? Past, present, future. All three. All directions, all actions, and all forms of energy and dissolution. That's called Vishwarupa. Imagine, like, it's how much is packed into it. So now Shankaracharya ji has a few points. So one of them we already said, Shankaracharya ji also repeated the same thing, that Krishna Bhagwan is Yogeshwar because he alone has the power to reveal the otherwise impossible perception. This cannot be done by anybody else. And then the other thing is, hey, it was not a mental projection of Arjuna, कि कोई ड्रीम देख रहा है, ऐसा नहीं है. Actual divine manifestation. So that we have to have a clarity. Because some people will say, oh, he just closed his eyes and he saw the dream. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. And then the other thing is, a lot of saints and sages, the way they analyze this Vishwaroop, it's not that ultimate Nirgun Brahm that we are talking about. Brahman, merging with the Brahman. But it is a special manifestation. Bhagwan gave Maya the instruction to do this for him. Okay, so this is just to, and what does it do for Arjuna? Firstly, it removes his doubt. Here, like, how can the whole universe be in you? That's kind of thing. It removed his doubt. And then it also, for Arjuna, it revealed Krishna's supreme sovereignty. Like, he is the supreme boss. And it demonstrated the truth that kind of increase Arjuna's devotion towards that. Okay, that's what it is. And then he just said that, Shankaracharya ji said that Vishwaroop is like a teaching device, for Arjuna, showing him that limitless glory of Bhagwan. But the highest truth is actually the Nirgun Brahma, and that has to be realized through knowledge, but this is a vehicle for him. So this is not the ultimate. So that's what, thoda clarity, I hope that I explained it. Okay. So, and then, of course, the Madhusudan Saraswati will take the bhakti angle. So he said Krishna's compassion, he's revealing this form and all that. And then he's also showing his Shakti in the visible form. You know, it's easy to say, oh, Bhagwan ke paas Shakti hai. This proved कि भाई क्या क्या शक्ति है उनके पास, right? And then, you know, one of them analyzed it very nicely. He said that this manifestation, what are all it includes, that what we saw earlier was the physical things, you know, like all gods, all worlds, all beings, you know. Here he said Gyan, Bhakti, Aishwarya, Virya is like strength. Shri is prosperity, and Tejas. Everything put together is this Vishwarupa. That was another nice analysis of and all that. And then another very interesting point is that as we go along, we will see that here in the Vishwarupa, Bhagwan showed Arjuna that he can govern creation and dissolution simultaneously. Because you will, the description आएगा ना तो एक तरफ beings are entering his mouth, then they are coming out from the other. Cyclic thing. Huh? So if you really scientifically also see, the creation and dissolution are continuously going on in our body, everywhere in the, you know, the leaves come, leaves go, you know all the whole thing. Anyway, but this way got more confirmed with Arjuna. So obviously this overwhelmed Arjuna, and that what did happen to Arjuna? It gave him humility, it gave him surrender and acceptance of Krishna's will. Because that was another very important thing. So far he was kind of a little bit resistant. And this just, boom, changed his whole persona after what we'll hear. Any question or comment? Who is going to read? No question or no comment. Any volunteers? Anil bhai.
Sanjay said, having thus spoken, O king, the great lord of yoga, Hari, showed to Parth his supreme form as the lord of the universe. The versatile genius of Vyas has never left anything that he has touched without raising it to the most sublime heights of sheer perfection. Incomparable poetry, unique prose diction, chaste descriptions, artistic, literary designs, original innovations both in thought and form, a brilliant philosopher, consummate man of wisdom, a genius in worldly knowledge, at one time in the palace, at another time in the battlefield, at still another time in Badrinath, and again among these silent snow peaks, strode Colossus Shri Vyasa as an embodiment of what is best in the Hindu tradition and in the Aryan culture. Thus, on all-round genius has not yet been reported ever to have been born, lived or achieved so much in the history of this globe at any other time.
You know, the sentence I was looking at, it started from the beginning of the paragraph and it ended almost like towards the end. One sentence. But imagine उसका मतलब उसकी जो ग्लोरी गाई उन्होंने व्यास जी की, कितना, अगर स्वामी जी उससे इतना इम्प्रेस है तो हम लोग को तो और 10 गुना इम्प्रेस होना चाहिए. मतलब जो कुछ एक इंसान में हो सकता है, जो नहीं भी हो सकता है, वो भी उसके पास था. Right? Vyas was just, that's why in lot of like Puranas and all, he's considered Bhagwan ka avatar. I don't know if you guys have heard that. Vyas ji is considered Bhagwan's avatar. Because avatar have different roles. Some avatar are called Purna avatar. You know, like Krishna and Rama are considered the Purna avatars. Others come for a specific purpose. Because this, what he achieved, it humanly seems impossible. You know, organizing 4 Vedas, putting him in writing 18 Puranas, writing the Mahabharata, which you know, he said that दुनिया में अगर जो कोई भी situation हो सकती है, उसका सबका उदाहरण महाभारत में, अगर महाभारत में नहीं है तो दुनिया में भी नहीं हो सकता, इतना चैलेंज किया हुआ है उन्होंने, इमेजिन. सो वो सब किया, पर दिस इज हिज वे ऑफ यू नो complimenting him, and if you guys don't know certain meaning of Sarah, you have to sit with a dictionary. That's all I can say. But it is just giving him the ultimate praise, right, to Ved Vyasji, because if you think about it, in one lifetime to tackle all the Vedas and 18 Puranas for us, हमारे जैसे लोगों के लिए तो possible नहीं है, right? उस सब का निचोड़ उन्होंने भगवत गीता में डाल दिया, which is also like like Bharat was telling me yesterday, to say the least and say the most is the biggest skill. Or sometimes people say so much and you don't know what they're saying. But to say the least and say the most, that's what he did over here in Bhagavad Gita. He took the entire thing and put in 700 verses. So he had to use all tricks of the literature, of everything, so that it has an impact on our mind. But that's the whole idea, right? So that's what he's doing.
When such a mighty master takes up his pen to paint life in all its implications and indicate an answer to all the eternal problems of man, he cannot but use the medium of drama in his work. Though in Sanskrit, drama is now known to us, is of a much later development, the dramatic interest has been fully and exhaustively exploited by Vyasa's pen all through his works. A beautiful example of his dexterity as a dramatist is amply evident in this chapter, where the three personalities, Krishna, Arjun, and Sanjay, together among themselves swing their audience of readers between the noisy battlefield of Kurukshetra and the chambers of Dhritarashtra's palace, where a hushed silence of impending tragedy is thickly hung.
So he's just telling us that how he used all the components of a drama. And we know how much we love like drama and movie and the visual thing, because then it goes into our head easily, right? That if you just, somebody says something rather than you actually see a scene, then it has a more impact. So he used all, and he was just saying that, I don't know how many of you have read all those things. I have not. I've heard about it. That Kalidas ka Meghdut, supposed to be a tremendous drama, just like Shakespeare ka hai, jo bhi, drama वगैरह है. इनका भी अपना संस्कृत का drama is supposed to be tremendous, So he's saying that वो तो बाद में आया. देखो व्यास जी ने 5,000 years ago drama का कितना सब कुछ किया. That's what he's trying to tell us, that he used all these tricks for us so that we understand these things better, because he used the drama.
When Lord Krishna has thus given Arjun a hint as to what he should expect and where he would gain the vision of the cosmic man and so on, Vyasa introduces a small section in which Sanjay reports to Dhritarashtra, the blind father of the wicked Duryodhan brothers.
So, that the scene has shifted to the palace because he's telling him. That's what basically it is, huh?
The literary purpose served by this verse is only to show to the readers that Krishna, according to his promise, had actually revealed his cosmic form to Arjun. But along with that, the deft mastery of the ancient writer of Mahabharata tries to paint for us the mental character and the inward sympathies of Sanjay. We have already described earlier that Sanjay is our own special correspondent. His sympathies are clearly with the Pandavas, the friends of the Lord. This tendency in Sanjay is unquestionably revealed when he addressed his own master merely as O King Rajan, while he uses the terms Mahayogeshwara, the great Lord of Yoga, and Hari, the one who maintains the champions of truth by destroying the powers of falsehood, to indicate Lord Krishna. I'm sorry, let me read this again.
Okay.
This is the Lord. This tendency of Sanjay is unquestionably revealed when he addressed his own master merely as O King Rajan, while he uses the terms Mahayogeshwara, the great lord of yoga, and Hari, the one who maintains the champions of truth by destroying the powers of falsehood, to indicate Lord Krishna. The implied suggestions of these words are equivalent to a bloodless murder of the blind old king. Oh my God.
मतलब स्वामी जी has used very strong word. मतलब उसको वो बोल रहा है तू तो खत्म ही हो गया. You know, अगर तू अभी नहीं सुधरा ना, you are finished. Obviously, he lost all his children. Imagine, children, grandchildren, the whole खानदान उसका खत्म हो गया. उसको कितना बेचारा ट्राई कर रहा है हिंट देने के लिए. मतलब और आई एम लुकिंग एट दिस वर्ड्स. खाली योगेश्वर बोला also, that also like ईश्वर of yoga. वहां भी उसको सेटिस्फैक्शन या महायोगेश्वर बोला उसने. एक्स्ट्रा एडजेक्टिव लगा के अब तो तू सुधर जा. You know, and then he told him completely deluded, and here is a Hari who takes away your delusion. Surrender to him a little bit, you know. So that's what he's trying to say, that he addressed Dhritarashtra. Sanjay addressed Dhritarashtra as Rajan, but when he's addressing Krishna Bhagavan, Mahayogeshwar, Hari, ये सब उसको बोल रहा है, hoping that वो सुधर जाए. You know, that's what it is. So I think that for us, it's like to remember God and His glory, we will also do the right thing, hopefully. You know, when we come across some delusion in our life, that's what we need to do.
और अगर ना करें तो we are as good as dead.
Yes. And you know, like, I'll tell you one thing. You know, Christians में बोलते हैं ना, if you don't believe in Jesus, you go to hell, right? So हम लोग बड़े गुस्सा हो जाते हैं. Why? What do they mean by it? If you really think about it, all they are trying to say, if you don't do what Jesus is saying, you will go to hell. So because whatever Jesus is saying, Krishna Bhagavan is saying too. There is going to be one verse will be coming in Bhagavad Gita. It says the doorway to hell is greed, anger, and desire, or something like that. I don't know the exact, abhi मेरे को याद नहीं आ रहा है, but if you have that in your mind, you are sitting at a gateway of hell. As जैसे बस गिरने ही वाले हो उसमें. Hell is what? When you are miserable. So even when sometimes I feel that the way they present it, it sounds really wrong, but there is a bhavana behind it. That he's saying that if you do, it's like a math thing, you know. If you do this, this will be the result. If you do this, this will be the result. So if you are sitting in your mind with greed, anger, frustration, and all that, the result will be stress, depression, and whatever. You're not going to be happy. So that's what it is that here he's saying, hey, like exactly like what Anil Bhai is saying, you are as good as dead if you don't wake up now. And that's exactly what happened to him. Because imagine a man who lost his entire family. He's as good as dead, right? There's no joy left in his life then. So that's what it is.
With Sanjay's words, the crowd of listeners and students of Gita are shifted from the field of the battle to the palace of the battle monger. This is perhaps necessary to remind the readers that the philosophy of the Gita has an intimate practical application to life. Sanjay informs Dhritarashtra that the great Lord of Yoga showed to Arjun his supreme Ishvara form. Sanjay entertains a vague hope that the blind king might, at least, on hearing that the Lord of the universe is on the side of his nephews, will foresee the sure defeat of his sons, and in his discrimination will cry a halt to the impending disastrous war. It is very evident in the Mahabharata that the one solitary individual who could have called off the war, even at that moment, was the born blind Dhritarashtra.
I think that after this verse, Sanjay just gives up now. ये नहीं सुधरने वाला. कितना बोलेगा कोई, right? So anyway, yes, same idea is in this paragraph also. That that we have to understand that that what I think the way we have to take it in our life is that whatever we learn from Bhagavad Gita, we have to apply it, right? And then we will be happy. Just reading and all that, that's not going to do for us also. Same thing.
मुझे धृतराष्ट्र की सबसे बड़ी कमजोरी उसकी अटैचमेंट थी ना.
Yes. So attachment से शुरू होता है सब कुछ, which is kind of interesting. The science of, this kind of destruction of human. When you say destruction of human beings, you can call it mental destruction or even physical in this case, all happened. All starts with this attachment. Wrong idea into your head, and then you get attached to it, and then it turns into anger, and then you do all wrong actions, and it deludes you. Because there is one very important chain reaction that happens is mind gets delusion, means your knowledge is covered. Even if you have heard it, even if you know it, it's temporarily not available to you. And that's why you will do all kind of atrocities, and here उसको कितना हिंट दिया तो भी उसको कुछ समझ में नहीं आ रहा है. अगर उसका डिल्यूजन इतना डीप हो गया इसलिए, बट स्टार्ट बिल्कुल अटैचमेंट से हुआ है, एंड देन सम पीपल इवन एनालाइज इट कि वो दुर्योधन का भी इतना फॉल्ट नहीं था जितना उसके फादर का था. बिकॉज फादर चाहता था, deep inside he had the desire to be the king and he wanted his son to be a king. So even though he knew कि ये इसके हक का नहीं है, ये लायक भी नहीं है, right? एक तो होता है कि अगर लायक होता तो भी शायद चल जाता. मगर he was इतना दुष्ट था, उसकी जो tendencies थी वो इतनी दुष्ट थी कि okay, I want my son to be this great king, but लायक भी नहीं है वो. And there's another person who जो उसका हक है और वो लायक भी है, right? And as a king, it was his duty to see कि who is going to be the next king. Because हमारे भारत की हिस्ट्री में ऐसा हुआ है कि जब एक अच्छे राजा को पता चला कि मेरा बेटा नहीं बन सकता तो किसी और को बनाया उसने फिर,
बड़ा भी करंट में भी तो है ना.
सॉरी,
करंट में पॉलिटिक्स में भी कांग्रेस में यही हो रहा है.
I mean, yeah, the thing is that when we talk about politics and all that, they don't keep it separate, and all that's true. The whole world is tied together, but nobody goes. जो बोलते हैं ना कि सभी को अपने कर्मों का भुगतना पड़ता है. So everybody, whoever has a role to do whatever, do that perfectly. Nobody's saying don't. If you have taken up some political position, then be true to that position. If you have been given a power to name the next king, then it's your duty to make sure that it is the right one. And then whatever happened in द्रौपदी के साथ सभा में, उसमें भी वो रोक सकता था, punish कर सकता था अपने बेटे को कि being so stupid and idiotic, he didn't do that. So all along, because why? His attachment was मेरे को kingdom मिलना चाहिए. That's why. So you are absolutely right.
Umaji, isn't that kind of similar to things that we do today in our ordinary lives, where we get attached to something or some idea, and because we are not able to look at another perspective or a different way of doing or accomplishing the same task, we stick with it to the point where it's actually detrimental or
yes,
that's how I'm looking at it, just from the, like you said, we have to kind of look at ourselves and say, okay, where am I blind?
Yes, I think you brought a very, very important point, because that's how we can apply in our life. And that's why, there is a book written by Tejo Mayananji. This book, we use it for children also. It's called The Vision of Bhagavad Gita. So this raises our vision. So we are not looking at some problem from our attachment point of view, and then, when it comes to dharma, what is my dharma, what is my duty and all that, it's a very broad topic. And, how do I determine, like Arjuna's dilemma, for example. Okay, he's standing over there, he's looking at if you don't look at from the broad vision, his concern looks very good. Hey, how can I kill my grandfather, right? But then you take a bigger picture. What is Arjun's role in the country? He's a soldier, okay? And he has to do his duty. the country is depending on him, whatever they trained him to do when the time comes to fight against adharma. And if his own people are standing on the adharmic side, then it becomes his duty to fight because of the broader vision. But if he sees it from a limited vision, he won't be able to do it. Right? Same thing applies in our life. Say, how do I determine something? It may not be that easy, but more our mind is purer, we'll have a clarity. Right? By reading Bhagavad Gita, by doing all that, purify our mind, it will become clear. Sometime what actions we have to take may not be easy ones. We might have to sacrifice something, but for the bigger good of the family, bigger good of the society, bigger good of the country, universe, whatever, if we are in that role, we have to do it. That's what it teaches you, and in the end, the result will be good because you will have a spiritual progress and everybody will benefit. So sometimes, like the people say, oh, Krishna Bhagwan could have stopped the war, why he didn't do it, blah, blah, blah. It's like if kisi ke body mein cancer ho gaya, and the sab kuch karke dekh liya, finally they have to do the surgery and chemotherapy, which is not easy. But if you don't do that, the person is going to die faster. So then that's why you do it, right? Or suppose a leg got some kind of infection and it has become gangrene and is going to spread and the person is going to lose his life, they will have to cut the leg off. So same way in the society, these people had become like cancerous. Nothing was helping. They tried everything. Finally, they had to do the war. They had to sacrifice. So many men had to sacrifice so much. But had they not done it, the damage would have been a lot bigger. Because generations would have suffered, which sometimes happens, So that's how we have to, so they call it the higher vision. It's like when you go in a plane and you see the whole city together, you have a different vision than you just one spot. Or the people who landed on the moon and looked at the earth, they thought we are the stupidest people to fight among each other. Stupidest people. It's such a delicate, sweet, nice place Bhagwan has given you. So khushi se raho ek dusre ke saath. That's how they felt. They became all spiritual because you are seeing from a higher perspective. So here in Bhagavad Gita, they are taking our mind. Krishna Bhagwan is trying to take it to the highest. But then he says, okay, in chapter 2, if you can't go there yet, even from a slightly lower perspective also, you need to do it. From the slightly dharma perspective also, you have to do it. From the society perspective also, you have to do it. In the end, इतना भी बोल दिया, अगर तू भाग गया ना तो तेरे दोस्त ऐसी गालियां देंगे तुझे और ऐसी बुरी बातें बोलेंगे, सोशल मीडिया पे सब आ जाएगा तू, and you will feel very ashamed. He did not stop at any point, but the best vision is the highest vision, like you said. So the higher we make our vision, more clarity we will have, and then we will drop our little attachments and all that. And another thing I wanted to remind you guys is that anybody looking at how to be a good leader, that is in chapter 3. Bhagwan says how to be a good leader. ये नहीं कि हर बात पे अपना बड़ा झंडा खड़ा कर दिया सबके आगे. Oh, you guys are wrong and all that. Nobody's going to listen to you. They will crush you. So he's saying that you walk with them, show how to do the work, change their mind slowly and make a U-turn. Suddenly एकदम से turn नहीं कर सकते तुम, because they will crush you. So he is very practical in his approach, that how to even try to change something very wrong is happening in society. You have to be tactful to change it. You cannot suddenly, start blaming everybody and this and that. Nothing is going to happen, But focus goes back to our own duties the most, because individually, if we improve our consciousness, if everybody does the right thing, there won't be any problem in the world. So other people's right will be protected and you will do the right thing. You will advance spiritually. So there's a lot of focus on personal journey in Bhagavad Gita, because when we improve, the society will improve, because society is made up of all of us together, So if we see something going wrong in the society, it is like a reflection of everybody together. Something I'm trying to say. So we have to go back and improve ourselves first, and then whatever role we have taken in our life, we have to do the best for that. Not everybody can do everything. Like Arjuna could fight. I mean, you and me cannot take a sword and start fighting with the, we can support Arjuna to go fight. See what I'm saying? So otherwise, sabhi log sab kuch nahi kar sakte. We got to do our own role correctly. Yes.
Well, the fight is in our minds. So
Yes.
if we can improve, that's the fight we're fighting. Each one of us is fighting.
Yeah. So each one of us has to fight, and then about clarity about our duties also will come when we have this fight subsides in our mind.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Then the
And
clarity
therefore,
will.
the intellect, and that's the guide. And the intellect is guided by all the Vedas and the Upanishads.
Yes.
So it comes from there. It's stepwise.
Yeah. So certain practices may look like, oh God, why do I have to do this? Just sit down quietly, meditate on God, this, that. There are some ways to quieten our mind, and the purpose is that we'll have a clarity what to do. We come across so many dilemmas every day. Ye karu ya wo karu. Right? Yeah.
Kumaji, it was so interesting when Duryodhan said to Bhagavan Krishna that I know what I'm doing is wrong, but I cannot control myself.
Yes. So that uska answer Bhagwan ne chapter 3 mein, I think 3 mein hi hai, haan. When Arjuna asked him that I know the correct answer, what I should do, correct action I should do, but something in me compels me to go the other way. Okay? So then what Bhagwan answers is that, summary mein bata rahi hu, हमारी जो tendencies होती है ना, tendencies are like my personality, what I like, what I don't like, all that is a accumulation of so many lives. और एक होता है knowledge. So knowledge gives us clarity कि मुझे क्या करना चाहिए. और मेरी tendency अगर opposite है तो मेरी, if I get succumb to my tendency, I will do the wrong thing. So we have to give the knowledge the more importance, rather than my own That's why Bhagwan said, rise above your likes and dislikes. There's a reason he said that. So what you're saying is very true. So Duryodhan got sucked up into his tendencies, even though he knew it is wrong. But उसको मजा आता है वो करने में. Yeah. So anyway, good points.
It's like driving under the influence.
Yep, exactly. कोई ड्रंक आदमी को तुम कोई लॉजिक से बात कर सकते हो? पूरी रात बीत जाएगी, वो सुनेगा नहीं तुम्हारी. एंड सुबह जब उसका नशा उतरेगा, बोला सच्ची मैंने ऐसा किया. उसको पता भी नहीं चलेगा. या कोई बहुत क्रोध में होता है आदमी और वुमन, ईदर वन, उससे तुम बात करके देखो. कोई असर नहीं होने वाला. Because that time it's a complete delusion is there,
कभी आपका कोई बड़ा बहुत गुस्से होता है तो वो ये कहता है कि इस वक्त तुम मेरे सामने से चला जा
नहीं तो कुछ हो जाएगा.
नहीं तो कुछ हो जाएगा.
I mean, even the West, they have this, if you're really angry, go around your house few times. कुछ है ना tricks की भाई थोड़ा शांत करने के लिए,
Yeah, or count backwards from 2000.
Yeah. So, but it is the whole science of the mind is in Bhagavad Gita. In some of those verses, there so much is there. That's why we have to read it many times. See, अभी हम लोग भूल भी गए क्या हमने पढ़ा था पहले. Gotta go back after we finish. We gotta go back. Then it will become really clear. एक बार पूरा picture. Sorry, go ahead.
इस सबसे बड़ा lesson जो है कि you can be slave to your mind, or your mind can be slave to you.
You said it, and Bhagwan already said it. Either mind can be your enemy or it can be your friend. If it is controlled mind, it's your friend. And if it's not controlled mind, it's your enemy. And the very good example is, it's a door. It's a kind of doorknob. You can go inside and you can go outside, both with the knob. You decide, A disciplined mind is your friend, and an undisciplined mind is your enemy. So what you talked about Duryodhan, it was undisciplined mind. It's not like, they always say that it's not like Pandavas were all perfect. Huh? They were not. Because they also had a lot of kamiyan in them. One of them was Yudhishthir. Jua kiya allat thi usko, kya uska hal hua, right? And there are other problems also they had. But they were willing to listen to Krishna Bhagwan. They were willing to change. They were willing to uphold dharma. Whereas Duryodhan said, I'll do what I feel like doing. Problem. So that's what it is. Yeah. Very practical, right? Any other comment, question? Okay. Not, then I will close Bhagavad Gita here. Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tva sarva papebhya moksha ishyami ma shuchaha. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha.